Hello, everyone. So today I would like to speak about a very interesting, controversial, maybe, or exciting for some people topic about what's happening. A lot of people have questions about the end of the cycle, Kali Yuga. They have the question about um, what's going to happen, what's happening, taking into account that a lot of things are happening, people are getting exposed politically, spiritually, in the entertainment industry. So today I'm going to speak about this very interesting topic and connecting it with the age we know as Iron Age, or the lowest, the darkest of all ages, or Kali Yuga. So I'm going to give the perspective and a certain insight into what's happening. And for those people who haven't seen my video on prophecy for the upcoming time, which was released, I believe, in July 2023, and some other prophecies that I've given earlier, but I'll post it at the end of the video so you can refer to that. I was speaking mostly referring to the spiritual aspects of our existence, spiritual, social, but it includes everything because our entire life is spiritual. We breathe, we are conscious, so that's spiritual to begin with. And as a side note, I would like to again thank everyone who decided to join our Shaktipat Stream special membership. This has been created as an initiative for people who would like to have more connection with me, have extra access to the extra content, exclusive content. We'll have special live streams for members only, more interaction with me, being connected. The most important on the spiritual path is not what you actually watch or do, but who you're connected with, and your spiritual growth is supported through this connection. So the connection is invisible, but the energetic and spiritual value are immense. Now, thank you very much to all of those who have already joined, and those who haven't, you can explore it. There are lots of benefits there for you, so you may explore all those benefits when you press the button join. I would also encourage people who are serious about the spiritual evolution, the refinement work, and just overall would like to develop themselves and shift spiritually, to consider joining Shaktipat Stream. You may read more about it at siddhikundaliniyoga.com. So otherwise, let's jump back into what is Kali Yuga. I've been speaking about it for a very long time. Again, I do not want to follow anyone's understandings or plagiarism about when did this Kali Yuga start or didn't. All the information and knowledge I get from within, and through connecting to the higher realms. Again, I'm not claiming anything, and everyone who watches these videos should develop their own intuition, their own connection with their higher being, with the higher realms of their ancestors, and get information from that. Now, from my understanding and to what I'm not to what I am, but to how I have been growing myself and what I've been realizing from within, let me see things beyond everything we know or read or might know through different sources, separate, disjoint sources especially. So from my standpoint, Kali Yuga started over 6,700 years ago, or something around the mark of 7,000 years. Again, our calendars are very much distorted. So it's very difficult to be very precise here. Nevertheless, it was about that time. And this very moment we're at the very end. So the ending of this Yuga has been going on between 2020 and 2027 and still going. This is like the last straw in the contemplative mode. And through my deep meditations, I've seen that the year 2025 and 2027 are especially crucial in this context. And what to expect is a lot of shifts in economic, political, spiritual paradigms, and there will be a lot of exposure. Again, when we speak in terms of political, social changes, and let's say entertainment industry, the people who have been a ruling elite and so on, so there'll be a lot of changes there. Again, I'm just delivering insight to use your own sense of discernment. So now what is happening with PDD, all these different, cases where people get exposed, certain activities of theirs get exposed, Hollywood gets exposed, etc., etc. So again, different people may have different opinions and insights. They may say that someone is being used in certain cover-ups, or someone is trying to deflect from what's happening. I mean, there can be different reasons, but why this is all coming to the surface is because this has been the reality of what we as humanity have been doing spiritually for the past almost 7,000 years. And again, you may say that not everyone has been doing it, definitely, but everyone had the potential to do so. The moment you get to the point of power, the point where you start accumulating wealth, and that accumulation and the growth of your power depend on certain elements within this reality, you will probably be doing the same thing. So now the question arises, why this is all happening? Meaning, why would people do these kind of things? Because this type of spirituality has been prevailing in the past 6,000-7,000 years. Not right away, but we have been degrading to that point where we stopped generating that amount of energy, where we started losing energy. Our lifespan started declining. So when the lifespan is declining and the greed is growing and you lose energy, but you want to stay here, obviously you start being desperate, and you start being desperately codependent on different sources of energy. And when you're codependent on different sources of energy, you resort to these kind of means, the means where you can exploit other people, you can use their innocence, you can use their spiritual purity for your own gains. All these things, all these bestialities have been going on within our known religions. And as we speak, someone is getting abused, someone is getting hurt one way or the other. And again, this is happening because we have disconnected from the highest source of being, inexhaustible source of energy. And the inexhaustible source of energy is that which is manifested through our limited body as creative sexual energy. And so when this creative sexual energy is depleting, we start kind of being compelled to engage into these kind of activities where there is energy transference, where there is energy extortion. So it's all about that. It's all about basically the spirituality of vampirism, where one being, one body, is codependent on the other body's generation of energy. for the exchange of something. Again, there are other subtle aspects of this where people resort to worshiping different kinds of entities they call God, they call maybe goddesses, maybe something else, high powers, where these powers are also, I would say, codependent on the existence of human consciousness. And in order for these powers to grow in their power and be noticeable or influential in the realm of humans, they need to be worshipped by humans. So again, we have these beings who propagate this kind of spirituality. All our religions, secretly, knowingly, unknowingly, or while being exposed, are based on the worship of these different entities, whether you as a public know it or not. And again, it's not a question of debate. This is how it has been, because no matter the facade of any spiritual entity or religion or cult or social representation, in the core, most of them, especially those who've become very popular, very big, they become such as because of the propagation, the preaching, the recruitment, and worship. Now, what does that mean in terms of spirituality, high form spirituality? It means that every time you worship something, every time you think of someone or something, you give that element within the projection your own energy. And as long as that is happening, you're feeding that. Now, all these demonic powers that have been ruling our world in the name of spirituality, in the name of hope, and trying to prolong our life are temporary, transitory in nature, but they are also demonic in nature. Demonic means that they are fragments which have limited energy, so they're not inexhaustible source. They're limited by name, by form, even if it's a subtle form, and by time. So now the more they're worshipped, the stronger they become. If they claim sacrifices, the more sacrifices performed, whether it's a sacrifice that is performed through political decisions, like trying to conquer someone and create a war and claim those souls that have fallen in the battlefield, or it's through some other types of sacrifices. The energy has been taken, the human essence has been consumed by these limited elements, spiritual elements, and so they grow in power. Now, why we call it as demonic spirituality, because it doesn't connect us to the higher power, but it rather uses us as generators of this power and as givers or donors. That's why it's called beastly or pseudo spirituality. No matter the dogma, ideology, as long as your consciousness is consumed, possessed by any ideology, you are limited, and your energy will be drained whether you want it or not. That's why if you want to break through and really gain an insight into what real spirituality is, or would be the spirituality of the golden age, I'd say, again, it's very difficult to imagine. We shouldn't imagine because we're not supposed to use the faculty of imagination, but it's a natural flow. And until we reconnect with the source and rediscover the natural flow, it is but impossible for us to get out of the clasps of pseudo spirituality, demonic spirituality, be it a new age, be it some other type of bestiality. based on consumption of drugs, performance of different rituals, social, sexual rites, or any kind of other ritualistic performances, external performances, in order to gain something else. Wherever you focus your consciousness within the projection will give back. That's the law of this projection. And people who understood all these laws can probably gain certain position in terms of material wealth and recognition within this world. But spiritually speaking, they're zero. And so this prophecy kind of applies to everyone. So there's no one who's going to be spared. All the New Age gurus, all the New Age teachers, all the pseudo yoga, all the spiritual leaders of all confessions, all of you will be prosecuted, whether you hear that or not, or someone else, your puppets hear that. Everyone who is believing and thinks that are of transitory nature, that are unreal, everyone who is performing rituals, everyone who is trying to recruit, preach, and make others believe in them is going to be prosecuted. Real spirituality is by recognition of the higher frequency, by being connected to that. Other people, whether they are of higher spiritual nature or any other, are not supposed to be worshipped. We are all examples of who we truly are at the core. And our presence is that defines who we are. I just posted the video, the welcoming video on this channel, where the sound maybe was distorted due to transmission. Now, who we are defines the presence, defines the emanation. It doesn't matter what you say or don't say. Now, people who have been hiding behind titles, behind spiritual certificates, and all this pseudo stuff will actually have a moment of awakening. A moment of awakening is not always what you imagine. It's not a moment of fireworks or recognition or that you're going to become another guru, because the beings who have, very, very few beings who have realized what the essence is, the immortal essence, the spiritual essence, are very humble. They don't need to be recognized. They can be recognized, but this is not their objective. They can be masters, but they are very, very low profile, humble beings who can remain invisible for the majority of people, because it's not their time to notice them or to become visible for them. Now, the majority of people are still in the dark ages, and they will remain there. Now, the churning that is going to unleash this time, when Rahu starts going to Aquarius, according to Vedic Siddha astrology, and Saturn is going to go into Pisces, this is the crossroad where a lot of things are going to be unleashed, exposed, or prosecuted. And life itself, time itself, is not going to spare anyone, even though a lot of people base their religious beliefs on worshipping of time and trying to control time. They haven't mastered themselves through the natural process of awakening to their immortal essence, immortal core, nor did they align with that immortal core, and thus it is all pseudo. They cannot control time from within, and all these attempts are just bogus. All people who have been abusing other people for energy, extorting energy, using tantra, mantra, voodoo practices, any other practices which focus on extortion of energy or taking energy from somewhere else, and not being that energy yourself, these people are going to see how the reality is going to flip for them on all levels. And those people who have been abusing people, trafficking people, again, people are currency. It's been known for a very long time. Women are currency because of their immense ability to generate creative, sexual, spiritual energy. Again, for the past 7,000 years, it's all been misused and reduced to the point of certain individuals trying to capture these wombs and hold them, in captivity for the sake of not just their bodies, but for what they are able to generate, and using their sexual energy in order to rise in ranking or gaining fame and wealth. Now, all of these activities will be gradually, prosecuted, revealed, and such practices will gradually be dissolved on earth, but it's going to take many hundreds of years. And of course, a lot of people who do this will perish. As I said many times, creation is very intelligent. You can fool people, you can fool even entities and different lower elemental beings, but you cannot fool life and you cannot fool creation, because creation and life recognizes only frequency. And this frequency is that which drives you either towards life with a capital L, it drives you to the premature death, which means the loss of energy. And as long as we are playing these games with energy, instead of connecting to the inexhaustible source of existence, we connect to something of transitory nature without first having reconnected to our inexhaustible source of energy. We're but silly and wasting our time, our consciousness, our energy. So, and I mean all this, religious stuff, New Age stuff, all this pseudo yoga, pseudo meditations. Without having awakened, you have no idea what yoga is, no, you will ever understand. Despite thousands of twists with your spine and everything, you will decay and age. And what is decay and age besides loss of energy and pains? It is crystallization of your bodily structure, crystallization because of wastes and toxins that your body cannot process in the proper way. So it is the decaying process happening faster than regeneration. Now, people who don't know what awakening is, but only imagine, again, jolt of subtle body or different kinds of movements is not the sign of spiritual awakening. Even if you're having very blissful states, it doesn't mean you are able to integrate that. It takes time. It takes the realization of how different layers of your existence correlate and should be aligned in order to understand how life with a capital L is to flow through your being. When you learn of that alignment, you learn of yoga. And you learn of yoga when you are absolutely absorbed, healthy. You start regenerating faster than you decay. And so you start being able to perceive time on different levels through different continuums, and your ability to master time grows. So only when you're somewhere close to that, you become a beginner of life, a beginner of exploration of creation on high levels, not just within this projected state or projected reality. So, and what's the point of knowing about Kali Yuga and when it's going to end? There is no point in anything. It's interesting, it's entertaining, but from the highest standpoint, the task is to learn to return to the original natural state. When you are at peace, that's your return. That's when you can prepare yourselves to perceive at least some form of spiritual knowledge beyond words. And what is this knowledge? It is transmission. It is emanation. And at that point, you lose the design, the idea of growing through some kind of other idea. You lose that desire to attain something spiritually, that you better not you lose, you dissolve it. It transforms because you realize that you grow through a connection to the higher reality. You grow not through crutches, even though sometimes crutches are necessary, but you grow not through ideas or, some kind of ideologies of beliefs or techniques or ritualistic worship or exchanges and sacrifices, but you grow through the connection with a higher being, through the presence of someone who is a living example, without worshiping them or putting on a pedestal. And you learn to balance yourself energetically, to attune to that higher presence that is your example, that is your reference point. Is a very different way of approaching spirituality. Instead of being a consumer, comparing, measuring one technique against the other, or just looking at the verbal expression. Verbal expression is not going to lead anywhere. Even people who claim to transmit something, but their body is falling apart, their life is usually lacking order and integration. These kind of beings are, again, those who are going to be consumed by creation, and all those pseudo spiritual businesses are going to fall apart. This is what to expect. And it's going to happen unexpectedly because life is intelligent, and intelligence consumes, burns in its flame everything that is unintelligent. Unintelligent means it has transitory nature. It lacks the connection with the source. Everything which is man-made is unintelligent because it's unnatural. And so whatever has been created this way is a dead matter. And those beings who have been supporting that dead matter are going to experience the same fate as everything which is made of this dead matter, because they've lost their essence or the connection with the essence for the sake of something which is simply a projection. So now Hollywood, Bollywood, all these things, people are just going to walk and fall because all that which is of corrupt nature is going to be revealed. And it's a process, the process of revelation of what is what. And yet a lot of people might be fooled by what's happening and not see the depth of what is really happening. And what is really happening is the crisis of spirituality, because spirituality is at the core. When we're deluded, when we're spiritually dispersed and fragmented, we are creating and supporting that demonic narrative in the name of whatever or whoever. But that which is demonic is that which has the core of dispersion. So whatever disperses or leads to dispersion is of demonic nature. That's where this age, Kali Yuga, Iron Age, whichever way you want to call it, has been called as demonic, because at the core it led to the dispersion, it led to the perversion, it led to all these secrecies. And now all that is going to be exposed. So there's a lot to contemplate. Now, it doesn't matter who does it, because the majority has been doing it for the past many thousands of years. All the cults of the past go beyond the antiquity even, have been doing this. All these cults where children have been used for the sake of some spiritual attainments, when women, virgins, have been used for the same sake, when people thought that spirituality should be gained through either extremes, whether it's monastic or deprivation path, or it's the path of indulgence and sexual bestiality or whatever bestiality. Both of these prove to be none other but demonic approaches. Demonic means they have seed of corruption and dispersion, because true spirituality lies in balance and starts and ends with this absolute balance, which is alignment on all levels, and eventually the alignment of consciousness with much higher levels of creation. Again, everything has to be in a balanced way. When we want to be granted access to something higher or beyond us, we need to become that ourselves. In order to become that, we need to dissolve that which doesn't allow us to be that. The corrupt layers, the layers of limitations. And these are, first of all, conscious limitations. People speak about dissolution of karma. Karma is your physical emanation, but also everything that you are, which is the emanation beyond your physical body. The state, the condition of your physical body is your karma. But that is the result of what is within your consciousness. And that's why, as I said 100 times, consciousness is the root and body is the fruit. If your fruit is rotting alive, then something must be wrong. So in order to return to the golden age spirituality, which is natural spirituality, which is the being, and it doesn't matter who says it, what matters is who is the example, where the reference point is. And now, through frequency, we grow. If there are few people, beings, who are that frequency, they will take the rest who recognize that frequency and can cultivate it within them. So this is the way it goes. Ascension is not something that everyone has to do right now because they egotistically want it. Because everyone now assumes that they are a teacher or a guru or some kind of a chosen one or an enlightened one. You can't be that or even want that in terms of just desire or because you've decided so. It's life itself by frequency. It pushes everyone in the right time where they belong by frequency, by vibrational level. Beings who are that do not desire to be anything because you are already that. A lion does not desire to be a lion, he's a lion. And if you realize that, you're going to save a lot of time from being delusional, from pursuing delusional dead-end paths and seeking something outside of you in that kind of way where you keep on stomping, where you're a consumer, where you think that when you give, you're going to always receive. That is conditional. That is coming from the egoic standpoint, because higher vibrations are invaluable and cannot be measured in anything from the world or by anything within the world. So should we be afraid? No. The more pure you are, the less you should have that fear, because when you fear certain things, you're limiting yourself. Every moment is the right moment. Every moment you're aligned and blissful. Cultivate your essence instead of trying to connect to something that doesn't belong to you, or wishing something that belongs to someone else. the more you accept and embrace your current existence, the faster you'll come out of miserable states, of unfortunate situations. All these people who propel and give the example of bestiality and demonic spirituality, they have been doing what they've been doing because they could not accept who they are at that time. They wanted to be something else. And in order to be that, they needed someone else's energy. That's why they all engaged into so-called criminal activities, in the so-called activities that disrupt their soul and disturb the souls of others. And because creation itself restores everything in the right time. The right time is the cyclical, the time of the cycle. When the time has come, it's going to balance it out, and this time has come. And so everything you hear is correct, because whatever has been out of balance will be put into balance, and that is justice. That is the universal justice. What does it mean to wrong someone? It means to take something that doesn't belong to you, the energy. Eventually, you'll need to give back. And how? You don't decide. Justice, creation itself will bring everything into balance. If you are suffering this time, it's because you have wronged. If this time between 2020 and 2027, especially now, between 2025 and 2027, you're suffering, is because you are not aligned with creation. You are out of balance, and you'll need to give back. Thank you very much for all your attention. If you wish to grow spiritually and reconnect with the source, be supported in the process, and receive guidance how to refine, how to heal, balance, regenerate in the due time, and how to understand the process of natural organic evolution out of this darkness, you may join Shaktipat Stream Special Membership or Better Shaktipat Stream and receive invaluable guidance, the example, and the support, spiritual support in this process. The spiritual support is unconditional. Whatever your support, financial support you offer, that is very much appreciated. That compensates some of the time that is spent in this process, but it will never compensate the energetic value and the spiritual value of what is given, because it's given unconditionally. Thank you to everyone who appreciates, subscribes, and who understands and values their own spiritual growth. Because if you do not value your own spiritual growth, if you do not respect your own being, your own body, your own space, you can never respect anyone else's. Start with the respect to your own body, to your own space, space of consciousness, and the physical space. Organize it, be balanced, be orderly, be clean, neat. And when you start respecting your body and your mind, and do not feed it with all kinds of nonsense, rubbish, you start appreciating things which are of higher value in this world, that of true spiritual value. You learn to manage your time, your resources, and your energy. And this is how you start being abundant, healthy, and spiritually aware. And this is the foundation for the spiritual growth, for refinement, for transformation, and for the eternal life, whether in the physical body, although the physical body will still be abandoned sooner or later, but as a emanation, as consciousness. Thank you very much, and best wishes to all the well wishers and supporters. Thank you very much.